Can take their seats, please. We're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's forum. Okay. Good to go? All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the District 5 Fresno City Council Candidate Forum. My name is Blake Zanti, the Executive Director of the Maddie Institute. I'll be serving as tonight's moderator. I first and foremost would like to thank Butler Church for allowing us to host this forum tonight at their facility. We're very appreciative. This forum is organized by a coalition of community organizations, including the Youth Leadership Institute, the League of Women Voters, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, Fresno Building Healthy Communities, and the Maddie Institute. As nonpartisan organizations, we are committed to facilitating a fair and respectful conversation, and we ask for everyone's cooperation in maintaining that environment tonight. All candidates were extended an invitation to participate in tonight's forum. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. Restrooms are located in the back of the sanctuary. Translation services in Spanish, Hmong, and Punjabi are available. If you need interpretation assistance, please see Maria and the interpretation team in the lobby area. We also have a children's area located to the side of the sanctuary where children can enjoy coloring and quiet activities during the forum. Also, if you'd rather not be photographed, you may proceed to the lobby for a green lanyard. A few reminders for the audience. We ask that everyone maintain and remain respectful throughout the event. Please do not boo, hiss, cheer, or interrupt candidates while they are speaking. Signs supporting or opposing candidates are not permitted during the forum. Audience members may submit written questions at the table located in the back of the room. Our team will review submissions and select questions based on the relevance and time. Unfortunately, not all questions may be asked tonight. Now for the candidates, thank you for being here, candidates. We're so grateful that you're here. This is a candidate forum, not a debate, so rebuttals will not be permitted tonight. We ask that candidates try to avoid personal attacks and remain focused on the issues. If a candidate begins attacking another candidate personally, I will redirect them back to the question, and additional time will not be provided. Questions tonight will be asked by our facilitators who are sitting here tonight. We'll introduce them in just a moment. Each question includes a designated response time, and candidates are asked to keep responses concise, please. Our timekeepers will provide a 30-second warning and a 15-second warning. When time is up, the timekeepers will ring a bell to indicate that the time has lapsed. I will enforce time limits to ensure fairness and keep us on schedule, and candidates will have an opportunity to provide a closing statement at the end of the forum. So thank you again for being here tonight, candidates. At this time, I'd like to introduce our facilitators and timekeepers for this evening. Our facilitators are Youth Lead Margaret Yang from Building Healthy Communities and Marianne Cast with the League of Women Voters. Thank you both for being here tonight to facilitate. Our youth timekeeper tonight is Atzel from FUSD Latino Student Union and Building Healthy Communities, alongside Giovanna from the Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability staff. Thank you tonight for being here. Now we'll move into candidate introductions. Candidates, would you please introduce yourselves and share how long you've lived in your district? Each candidate will have 30 seconds for introductions. And thank you, candidates, for those. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, and we'll go ahead and introduce. If you want to start with Mr. Vang, and then we'll move to the right over to Mr. Wildstar.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. I'm Fresno City Council member Brandon Vang. I am married, have been married to my wife for over 30 years. Together we have 5 children. 4 of them are adults, and we still have a 14-year-old with us. I live in the same house for the last 17 years in District 5, and I am a proud graduate of McLean High School. And so it is an honor to be here tonight with everybody here, and I look forward to have an engaging discussion with my 2 opponents here. And I believe we are missing one as well, but I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilmember Vang. Thank you. We'll go to Mr. Barraza next.
Jose Leon, Jose Leon Barraza. I'm the former Director of Economic Development for Fresno County. I'm currently a commissioner with the Parks and Recreation Department, And I have been the CEO of the Southeast Fresno Community Economic Development Association for 14 years, and I was a founder of that organization, and I live down the street. So this is my neighborhood, and thanks very much to the organizers, and I won't list them, but for bringing the candidates to the grassroots, the community.
Thank you, Mr. Barraza.
Talk about the issues.
Thank you. I know that everyone, there's a lot to say, but don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to be able to expand on your platforms later on. We'll now go to Mr. Wildstar.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you to the organizations for having me. My name is Nickolas Wildstar. I am a native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've lived in California for almost 25 years. For the past 6 years, I've lived in Fresno. I have a son who's 6, and I'm just a hardworking resident of Fresno. I've been committed to political activism for the past 15 years, and tonight I will be expounding on that experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, candidates, for those introductions. We'll now move into our first section of questions focused on civic leadership and community trust. Our facilitators, Margaret Yang and Marianne Cast, will guide us through this portion of the forum. I'll now turn it over to you.
Thank you, Blake. We'll begin with questions focused on civic leadership and community trust. Candidates, please keep your responses within the allotted time, which we'll try to provide before each question. For this first question, you'll have 30 seconds each. And we'll start tonight with Mr. Barraza. What do you think is your most important role as a city council member? 30 seconds. And Mr. Wildstar, same question.
Absolutely. I think the most important role for a city council member or for any elected official is to just be involved in the community. That's what I've done, again, for the past 15 years, getting involved in protests, rallies, cleaning up the streets, feeding the homeless. I also would like to improve government accountability. Our city has been riddled with scandals left and right, so my role as city council member will be to improve the public trust.
This next question, you'll have 60 seconds to answer. We'll start, Councilmember Vang, you'll be first here. What would you do during your first 90 days to restore and increase trust and confidence with Fresno residents, especially those neighborhoods that have been historically disenfranchised and left behind? And Mr. Wildstar, same question. Describe your first 90 days.
I will be very active in my first 90 days. I'll be introducing legislation for my for my fellow city council members to put public finances on the blockchain. That way, any public finances will be recorded electronically and made readily available to the public. I also will be introducing legislation to provide 3D homes to the homeless, and by improving my community with small needs. Public restrooms, more trash cans just available on the streets. Mist stations. It's getting very hot here in Fresno, and in the summertime it's going to get even more hot. So we need some public mist stations so everyone can keep cool.
In this next question, we'll be talking about infrastructures and development. You'll each have 60 seconds to answer. Do you support SEDA, and what are your thoughts on its related infrastructure costs? Do you support standalones, smaller version of SEDA, like self-SEDA, and why? Mr. Wildstar, you'll be starting us.
The current plan as it stands, I do not support it. It's overambitious. I don't think that billions of dollars are needed in order to provide affordable housing, especially with the price tag like that. Once people move into those homes, most likely they're going to be expensive. So my plan is to provide 3D homes as a solution for affordable homes. 3D homes exist right now. The technology can build homes in less than a couple of days or a couple of weeks, opposed to projects taking months, if not years, to be completed. It could be done on a very small price tag, and that, again, is one of my first proposals once I'm a city council member.
In this next question, you'll have 60 seconds each to answer. Communities like Kawa have long faced concerns around water contamination and air pollution. What specific policies, zoning, or investments would you prioritize to address these environmental challenges and ensure all Fresno residents have access to clean air and safe drinking water? Mr. Wildstar, you'll be answering the same question.
Thank you. Well, I think the best way to approach it is to include these third parties to actually conduct their own researches on our air quality, on our water quality, and use that as the information that we base our decisions on. I think there needs to be more regulation against businesses that do pollute our air and water, and even if it goes as far as to banning them from being able to conduct business in the city. But one of my proposals is to build atmospheric water generators. These are literally machines that can take water out of the thin air and provide clean drinking water to the public. This would also improve the air quality as well. The more moisture in the air, the better air to breathe. So this is a newer technological way that I'll be approaching solving that issue.
These next questions have to do with housing and urban development. Councilmember Vang, you'll answer first. According to the city's housing element, more than 20% of renters are severely cost burdened, which impacts low-income renters the most. And there is a current shortage of affordable housing. What actions will you take to address cost burden and increase affordable housing units throughout the city to ensure access to healthy and affordable housing? Mr. Wildstar, same question.
Oh, Mr. Barraza, we'll go to Mr. Wildstar next. We'll go to Mr. Wildstar and then to you. I'm sorry, sir. Yes.
All right. Well, one thing that I think deserves attention is that these contractors are completely overregulated when it comes to them being able to build homes. So what I would like to do is cut the government red tape, get out of the way so these businesses can provide more homes to those in need. But I revert back to my idea of building 3D homes in Fresno. We can have a manufacturing facility here in Fresno to provide those 3D homes. Some models are less than $10,000. So for people that are seeking to buy a home, it'll be a lot more affordable than it is to buy a house right now in California. But having that manufacturing facility here in Fresno would actually provide jobs to those in need, and these would be high-paying jobs as well. So this will be my approach in resolving the affordable housing issue here in Fresno.
This question also allows a 60-second answer. In light of current housing shortages, how would you balance addressing the issue with infill versus annexation to expand city boundaries? Mr. Wildstar, same question.
Absolutely. I would definitely invest into more green spaces, more development of parks, dog parks, skate parks. I definitely feel like the people of Fresno could benefit from having the more green spaces available to them. Also, focus on unfinished infrastructure projects. Fresno is notoriously known for starting something and then not finishing it. So my focus would be on finishing those uncompleted projects first and foremost, as well as preserving those historical districts where they've been targeted for any infrastructure projects. But most importantly, I will be speaking with residents, making my door open, making myself available by way of telephone, email, town hall meetings, so we can find out more about what the community wants and needs.
This next group of questions has to do with transportation proposals, and 90 seconds is allowed for each response. We'll start with Councilmember Vang. A city-commissioned environmental health impact assessment found that South Fresno residents are more likely to live near major streets, truck routes, and freeways, exposing them to harmful air pollution linked to asthma, heart disease, preterm births, and other serious health issues. What strategies would you support to improve the health and quality of life of communities most impacted by freight traffic and highways?
Yes, I think the best way to reduce traffic from cars is to provide more public ways of public transportation. We could do that by expanding our current public bus system by providing more buses, more companies providing bus rides as well. We could build more bike lanes, trolley system, a railway system, providing electric scooters. I know they've been cracking down on electric scooter use on the campus of Fresno State, but our city itself could be providing those public scooters. I know there's some reluctance around self-driving cars, but they also would reduce the amount of people that are driving their own personal vehicles. So now people would have different modes of transportation to get around the city, and it would also reduce the amount of pollution that cars are putting out into our environment.
Before we move into the next session, we want to recognize the youth council members who helped plan these forums behind the scene. The next two questions were especially important to the young people involved in this process and reflects concern they're hearing from other youth in the community. You'll have 60 seconds to answer this question. If you are elected, what differences will you make in 4 years to make Fresno a place where young people want to stay, where they can envision a future for themselves? Mr. Wildstar, you'll be starting us.
All right. Well, the median age of residents of Fresno is around 33 years of age. Fresno is the 5th largest city in California, so it's growing fast. A lot of younger people are moving here. I'm 44, and I'm the youngest person out of this panel that's actually running for city council. So our city is in need of more younger representation, more youthful energy that's actually going to provide more opportunities for the young people. Instead of these teen takeovers that are happening across the country, being focused more so on violence, why don't we have a teen takeover at a library or at a park? Provide more community after-school programs or community services to entertain our youth. And like I said, more green spaces like skate parks could definitely provide that outlet for them.
This next question will be for Mr. Barraza. You'll each have 60 seconds to answer. Following recent incidents impacting youth safety at community events and public spaces like Art Hop and River Park, what specific steps would you take to improve safety for young people while preserving a positive and inclusive community environment? Mr. Wildstar, you'll be answering the same question.
Thank you. Well, when the stabbing happened at Art Hop last month, I was there actually a few hours just before, and it was very peaceful. I actually ran into a group of young people, high schoolers, who approached me while I was doing interviews on the street, and they were very friendly to me. So one thing that I did notice while I was there was the lack of police presence. There was cars crossing and people crossing, and there wasn't any police there to actually help with that process. So I would support more police patrols during these activities. I would promote more junior police force development so they could actually be provided different tactics of de-escalation. But I would definitely be holding youth forums, youth town halls, so we can speak with our younger people and see exactly what it is that they're desiring from our city.
Thank you, candidates. We'll now move into community-submitted questions collected from audience members earlier this evening. You'll each have 60 seconds to answer these questions. We will probably have time for about 2, maybe 3 questions. So I'll unfortunately, and we have many great questions I'm going through here that were submitted, but we'll try to get through some of them right now. We'll start with this one. Would you support a legal aid fund for immigrant families funded by the city? Mr. Wildstar.
Well, I'm very supportive of public-private partnerships. We can partner with some of these companies to provide different resources made available to people of the community without any taxpayer money being used whatsoever. I also would incentivize more nonprofits or other organizations to help provide more services readily available to those in need. There are legal offices that like to provide legal services pro bono, so we should be partnering with those businesses as well. But one thing I do plan on doing once I get elected is to propose that Fresno be declared a constitutional sanctuary, so everyone's constitutional rights will be protected. Whether you're a citizen or not, you are an American, so your constitutional rights will be protected here in Fresno. No money, no resources will be going towards any deportations or anything that will violate that.
Thank you. Next question. Getting childcare to working families is expensive. What would you propose that the city do to help? And in parentheses, this person noted that childcare costs more than Fresno State tuition. Thank you, Mr. Wildstar. We'll go to you next.
Yes, indeed. Well, my son is 6, so I definitely need to be making sure that as an adult that I have more child care services available to him. One of my favorite places to take him is Kids Park, but there's only one in the city. We should make businesses such as theirs, give them an opportunity, incentivize them for more business development. I actually would like to propose that business licenses be waived for a year to allow these smaller businesses to be in operation. Sometimes when I'm shopping for a private child care service, a lot of them have been put out of business because they simply can't afford to stay in business. They maybe have 1 or 2 children, but without an exorbitant amount of fees that they're having to pay each year just to stay in business, would definitely have them become more readily available.
Thank you. And next, I think we have time for one more question, and we'll go with this one. How do you envision young people getting more civically engaged in their local government? Would you commit to reestablishing the City of Fresno Youth Commission? We'll begin, Mr. Wildstar.
Well, I think entertaining our youth is definitely imperative. We need to make it more interesting about politics in general. Provide more activities to them. Maybe have some apprenticeship programs or internships available to our high schoolers and maybe even some middle schoolers to come in and work with a politician for a day just to see what it's like. But there definitely needs to be more investment by this city into civic courses, whether it be through after-school programs or community programs at parks. But our youth need to know how government works. They work for you. Your tax dollars pay their salaries. Your government is not the boss of you. You are the boss of your government. So these are just simple things that our youth should be taught, and I'll be focusing on that.
Thank you, candidates. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for audience questions, but there were a lot of great ones, so I encourage you, if your question did not ask, please maybe feel free to reach out to the candidates directly and ask them your question. We're now going to move into closing statements. Each candidate will have 60 seconds for final remarks, and now we'll go to Mr. Wildstar.
Well, as I said before here tonight, Fresno is the 5th largest city in California. It's growing fast. But we need to be growing smarter and more efficiently. In order to do that, we need better leadership. The leadership in Fresno has done all they could do. They have outdated ideas, and they're still trying to operate business as usual. People are sick of that. They want something new. This city council will have new leadership all across the board. You'll have new faces, and with these new representatives, they should be providing you with new ideas. I'm the only candidate thus far tonight that you've heard that has actually presented that and provided that for you. So please, I implore you, vote Wildstar for Fresno City Council District 5 for a new Fresno that you will be much happier to live in.
Thank you to all of our candidates, community partners, volunteers, interpreters, and audience members for participating tonight. This concludes our forum. A special thank you to Butler Church for hosting us and to the coalition organizations that helped make this forum possible. The next forum for District 3 will begin at 7:15 p.m. Most importantly, thank you to the community for staying engaged and informed. Please remember to vote on June 2nd and encourage others to participate in the upcoming election. Have a great and safe evening. Thank you.